Everybody, it's Steve Taylor, our Bartow County Commissioner. Good to see you, Steve.
It's good to be here, David.
First question, Allison Tate. I've called Bartow County home for nearly 30 years and have loved living in a slower-paced, less stressed community. That's gone. Now our beautiful Bartow County is becoming a concrete jungle with the incessant building of warehouses and now this horrendous Hyundai plant on 411. It's just too much. Of course, then there is the issue of new subdivisions on every corner. I get tax revenue, but our once beautiful rural community is quickly disappearing. Our roads and infrastructure can't handle it. Traffic is often a nightmare, and yet the growth continues. Why and when does it stop?
That's a good question, David, and I don't know when it will stop. Bartow is in a growth spurt right now that probably as much as any growth spurt since I've been here, and I've been here my entire life in Bartow County. I get the quaintness and the solitude of the old days. I long for those too, but I can tell you the position we are in Georgia, in this part of the United States, is growing. Bartow County is one of those counties that's north of Atlanta that has not filled up like some of the other counties, and hopefully it will never fill up to the just like Cobb County or Gwinnett County and those major big counties. I remember as a young lad, I was maybe 8-10-year-old. Bartow County and Cherokee County was about the same population, and I had relatives over there, and I'd go over there, they'd come over here. So we were close to the same size counties. Now Cherokee County is 280,000 people or more. Bartow County is 115,000. We have been growing, but not at some of the paces that Cherokee, Forsyth County, some of those other counties in the northeast of Atlanta. Some of those counties have outgrown us a little more than Bartow has. I'm not trying to make excuses. I'm just saying that we've held the growth down here, and I think that's because of past leadership, our current leadership, and so we can't just put up a sign and say, you're not welcome in Bartow County. There's a lot of landowners here that's ready to sell their land when the price gets high enough. It's going to happen. So they've been really good stewards of the land. We've still got a lot of farmers that's not interested in selling their land. Big land tracts are available in Bartow County that's not available in other counties in the metro Atlanta region, and that's what's drawing a lot of investors here to develop Bartow County. Hopefully we can keep the pace at a pace that is sustainable, and that Mayberry image that people have, that it used to be like this, I don't think we'll see that again. That's not under anybody's control really, but the market demands are bringing new people here. I think we will continue to grow, hopefully at a little slower pace than we have, but the county and the community is looking for growth. I see a lot of people that want more growth, and I think it's growing at a pretty good pace, and we'll just see how it goes. But and I think the lady had mentioned apartments and homes, subdivisions popping up on every corner. You know, we put a moratorium on apartments about 8-9 months ago. I extended it 3 months ago for 6 more months, and I may do it again. So that's in unincorporated Bartow County. I can't control what goes on inside our cities. Emerson, Cartersville, and Adairsville, up and down the interstates, they've started developing more apartments too. So if you combine all of these together, there is a lot of apartments that's been built in Bartow County. The moratorium covers not just apartments, but townhomes too. That's complete multifamily under the moratorium. So we'll see how that goes, if it slows things down some, hopefully, but I think we're on a fairly decent pace of growth.
Jamie McLean, considering the lawsuits in Gordon County and Floyd County over contaminated watersheds, what steps are being taken by the county to protect our water supply from illegal toxic dumping by all the warehouses in the county? Also, considering the proximity, has the county tested our water supply for forever chemicals that have been found in surrounding communities and are responsible for increased health issues in those communities?
Our water officials work constantly testing water. You know, Bartow County gets most of its water from the city of Cartersville. They have labs and technicians there that work all the time testing their water to make sure we have a safe water supply. We're under EPD and EPA restrictions as far as water goes. We have to have a safe water supply. As far as warehouses dumping toxic waste into the rivers, that's just not true. They are under strict regulations as far as that goes. They go through the wastewater plant down at Pine Grove Road, and so all of that is cleaned up. The water that comes out of the wastewater plant is cleaner than the river water that is dumped into.
Yvette Gentry Moore. Why is the outskirts of Bartow County so scarce on hydrant and fire station coverage, even though multiple houses are being built out this way? Bartow County Water only thinks about those subdivisions that are within 2 miles of a fire station and we need fire hydrants every 500 to 800 feet.
We do have some gaps in our coverage as far as fire coverage goes. The main gap in coverage in Bartow County is the Snow Springs, Barnsley area from Hall Station Road going west to Floyd County, and that little quadrant up in the northwestern part of Bartow County. That's one of our main areas of coverage that we're lacking. As far as water service to those areas go, most of the areas around the county that's populated has got water service. And so I'm going to revert back to the question earlier about explosive growth. If you run water and sewer utilities to all parts of Bartow County, be prepared for a lot of growth, because that's where the developers follow, where the water lines go. So if you want to keep some of the county in true green space without any growth, and I think that's important to do that, then we shouldn't be running water to all those parts of the county, because that's going to create more growth in parts of the county that a lot of people want to see growth in.
Tara Sly, what are the latest updates on Hamilton Crossing Park and the expected completion date? Are there any other notable developments in other parks?
Hamilton Crossing Park is a park. It's a great park. We're proud of it. There's a lot of development that's been going on out there for at least a couple of years. We think it'll be a couple of more years. We expect to put a water park out there starting late this year. We're going to have a gym building with 3 gyms in the same building. That's going to be great. It's going to model it's going to be kind of like the gym in Ackworth. A lot of you folks have seen that. It'll have a walking track around the top, and so we're spending a little money of your tax dollars out in Hamilton Crossing right now. We'll have pickleball courts, some new tennis courts. This is all because of public demand. A lot of people are calling this office saying we need more pickleball. We need more recreation for our children. So Hamilton Park will be completely built out, I would say, within 2 years. So there's a lot of activity going on out there. I'm thinking that this park is getting set up for great things for the future. We've got some expansion plans for Manning Mill Park up in the northern part of the county, and we're always looking for areas that we can put a future park in. Maybe buy some land in the southern part of the county and have a park. So, you know, we're conscious of people wanting more and more recreation. That's one of the demands that we get. Public safety services is probably the biggest demand, but right after that is recreation.
Sharon Chalice McCoy, what is the county doing about the large number of homeless and growing addiction problem? What are the plans? What are the rules for panhandling here? I've been approached while shopping.
Okay, I'll start with the panhandling first. The rules for panhandling is they have to stay out of public right-of-way. They have to stay on the public right-of-way, I'm sorry. They're not supposed to walk onto private property. We can't just remove everybody that wants to stand on a corner and panhandle. But if it's creating a public safety concern and it's creating backed up traffic or someone standing in the road, then our law enforcement can take action. As far as the homeless goes, you know, homeless is a problem nationwide. And I'm not sure if Bartow has a greater problem than the average across the nation. I know some of the urban cities really have really strong problems about homeless. And so that's a tough one. The county don't have public housing. Bartow County don't have plans to build public housing. Inside the city, there's a housing authority for homeless. There's a lot of programs that's built for income restricted housing, and there's some of those in Bartow County. And back to the addiction problem, you know, there was an opioid settlement with all the pharmaceutical companies, and they're going on right now, but the county's already starting to get some of that money, and by law, we're supposed to take all of that money and put it into recovery programs. And so we're turning most all of that money over to an organization called Bartow Recovery. They're just getting, I mean, they've been started for quite a while, but they're just now getting that money. And so hopefully they can put that money to work and help with a lot of addiction problems that do cause homelessness. So we'll just see how that works and do as much as we can. As you know, we're restricted in a lot of those areas as far as homelessness and using tax dollars for some of these programs. But hopefully things will get better in that regard.
Christy Bramlett, what is his plan to improve ambulance service? Metro is based out of Cobb County, so responding to calls, Cobb takes priority over Bartow. Over 45-minute wait or sometimes no response at all is completely unacceptable, putting the safety and well-being of Bartow residents at risk. Firefighters having to make repetitive calls and to dispatch to see where an ambulance is, and now finally having to transport patients from Metro, or because Metro doesn't show up.
That's totally not true. Metro is based out of Cobb County. That part is true. Metro covers Bartow County, Paulding County, and Cobb County. They give a lot more coverage than Bartow County did when we had the ambulance service. They stand up 8 to 10 trucks in Bartow County. A 45-minute wait, it can happen, but it's unusual. They are short-staffed, and we have conversations with Metro's leadership quite often. They're short-staffed just like a lot of other ambulance services around North Georgia. If Bartow County owned their own ambulance service, we would be short-staffed also. In fact, Metro was able to pay the staff when they took over Bartow EMS way more money than Bartow County was able to pay. So they can hire better technicians, more technicians, and they have a great training program. So I'm proud of Metro. They do a good job in Bartow County. Now, I'm not going to tell you there's not going to be a wait. And if you get a call, if you place a call for Metro and they don't show up, you can call my office and we'll call and hook them up with you and try to get you some answers of why they didn't show up. Very few times since Metro's took over did they just never show up. But I do understand that they're short-staffed like most everybody else is in industries across the medical profession. So, but all in all, Metro's doing a real good job for Bartow County.
Chuck Shiflett, Steve is ultimately responsible for the county water department. Does he plan to terminate current water department leadership in light of the disastrous rollout of billing changes there? Steve really needs to make a public statement and apologize for all the problems people are experiencing.
You know, we changed the software at the water department about 2 months ago, and we had some glitches in that department. Nobody's water bills got cut off. Water taps got shut down because of that. Even if you were late, you didn't get penalized. You didn't pay a late fee. So we recognized that under the new billing system that it did have some glitches. I will apologize for that. And so we knew that there would be some learning curves there, and that and it happened. I mean, during the new changeover, a lot of people's water bills were late. Part of that was for the U.S. Postal Service. We mailed water bills, I think, a couple of months ago, and it took 30 days for some of them to land at the people's mailbox. So that's another problem that we had. But it seemed like the perfect storm with the mail service and our new changeover with the programs we were using. It did create a lot of problems. So the water personnel has got control of that. I got a lot of calls in my office because the water bills was messed up and they was not there on time. Some of them was 3 weeks late, and so they got mailed out in plenty of time. But getting to your house, it just took a while. So I would suggest that you just pay online, and like I do at my house. And so until this situation gets straightened out with billing at the water department, we're not going to be charging late charges or penalties at all.
Elaine Bramlett Sloan asks, Cartersville is losing its charm that attracts people in the first place. The residents who have been here all their lives are being priced out of their houses, taxes going up, groceries are terrible. Where are the disabled and those who only have Social Security going to live? I am retirement age, but I can't retire. It costs too much to live.
I agree with that statement. Inflation has hit everybody. It's hit county government services. County schools are being affected by inflation. But most of all, the individual citizens that live in Bartow County, especially those on a fixed income, are really getting hit hard with inflation. My heart goes out to them. I know young families that are just trying to start out and build a home. The cost of construction is so high. Inflation's just really hard on the elderly people that have a fixed income, that don't have a way to work, maybe not able to work an extra job. Those are really serious problems that society needs to take a look at. I know where I think a lot of the blame falls is the federal government has printed so much money and threw out easy money for so many different events that's happened in the last few years. I think that inflation has just gone crazy. And so I think the problem with inflation is mostly in the hands of our federal leaders, national leaders.
Molly Schultz. Bartow appears to be growing by leaps and bounds. So many new residential buildings and warehouses. Basically a lot more people and a lot more traffic. What's been done to prevent overload of our current infrastructure, road, maintenance, power grid, schools, and what is it going to cost?
Well, the cost, it's expensive to do road work, and we have an MPO, Metropolitan Planning Organization. We meet monthly here. It's a public meeting. Anybody can come, and we have a public comment period that you can come and share your concerns. We're spending some of your tax dollars as far as road improvements go. The main problem seems to be along the Burnt Hickory corridor. There's a lot of growth out that way. Sugar Valley and Burnt Hickory Road, Mission Road and Burnt Hickory Road, and Highway 113 and Burnt Hickory Road. Those are 3 areas of concern that we're in the process of buying right away now. We're going to put turn lanes in all of those intersections. That should help the traffic flow a lot. It should help the stacking on Burnt Hickory and Sugar Valley. That seems to be where a lot of the calls are coming from right now. And so hopefully those intersection improvements will keep traffic flowing better than it is right now. And there's other areas. The Cass White Road, phase 2 of that's been looked at now. We've already got the right of way to do that job. We're waiting on some extra state funding to come in, and we'll be ready to go on that expansion too. That'll be from I-75 all the way down past Great Valley Parkway. That's another area of major concerns. And there's other areas with intersections around Bartow County. Some of these construction projects are state jobs, not county jobs, like the Old Alabama Road from the airport over to the interstate. All of that is a state funded, it's a state highway now, and so that's a state project. That should be wrapping up about 18 months from now, from what I understand.
Jody Toe, TEW, asks, how long until we see a return on the $300 million tax abatement given to the battery plant? How much is the county spending on utilities and infrastructure for the new battery plant?
The county has spent no money as far as utilities and infrastructure for the battery plant. The battery plant will more than pay back its way after it starts paying property taxes. And the first year, I think the battery plant's going to pay a couple of million. Before that happened this past year. Then they'll go to like 25 million, and I think the pilot payment agreements say the battery plant should pay around 34, 35 million a year after that. There's a big rumor going around Bartow County that the battery plant's not paying taxes. They're going to be the largest taxpayer in Bartow County by far after year 3 and up through year 30. They're going to be our largest taxpayer unless somebody else bigger comes along, and I don't see that happening. Their contribution to the county as far as property taxes go is going to be tremendous. Way more property taxes paid by them than even Georgia Power, Plant Bowen, who has always been our largest property taxpayer. Way more than Toyo Tire, who's been paying property taxes now for many, many years. So the state bought the property for the battery plant. That's part of that tax incentive that the battery plant got. And the state turned it over to the Bartow County Development Authority. All those tax payments and jobs that the battery plant creates will be a big revenue boom for this county and for the state of Georgia. So that's not an unusual deal that the state did for the battery plant, because quite frankly they do them all over the state of Georgia. That's why Georgia's known as the #1 state to do business. We're a business friendly state, and you can't just use those words and say we're business friendly. We are friendly to business to come into Georgia. We don't tax businesses nor our citizens to death. Those taxes that the battery plant pays is part of the reason that we can raise your homestead exemption. And we've raised it twice in the last 4 years. We went from 5,000 to 10,000 homestead exemption. This year we put it on the ballot to go to 15,000 homestead exemption, and it passed by about 90% just yesterday. So in the future, I hope we can keep raising the homestead exemption. People are really concerned about the millage rate. The millage rate shouldn't matter to a homeowner as much as how much is your homestead exemption. If we can keep raising that homestead exemption, let's leave the millage rate alone, because industry, commercial, and people with multiple apartment buildings and all that, they don't get the homestead exemption. Your home, one home, gets that homestead exemption. That's, to me, more important to the homeowner than lowering the millage rate. And so that's my plan, and I hope it resonates with people throughout Bartow County.
Alex Payne, how many people from Bartow County are going to be employed at the new battery plant? From what I've seen, heard, it's mostly South Korean people.
That is simply not true. There's a lot of South Korean engineers and construction workers out at the battery plant. That is true. They're out there now. It's owned by Hyundai. Those are their employees. The battery plant is going to employ somewhere around 3,500 people. I suspect they'll be hiring from all across northwest Georgia. I look at the battery plant kind of like Lockheed when it came. It provided really good jobs. A lot of people from Bartow County drove down there for those really good jobs. And we'll just wait and see how the battery plant functions as far as pay goes. I think they're going to pay up a lot to get the people they want. And so it's going to be good. When you raise the per capita income across Bartow County, that's got to be a good thing. Now, all those jobs are not going to be Bartow County folks. They're going to hire throughout northwest Georgia. People will drive to the battery plant for a better paying job than if they live in Rome or Gordon County or Paulding County, Polk County. If the job pays enough, they'll be driving. But the biggest part of them, I think, will be for Bartow County citizens.
Jody Schaefer Ham, what is he doing to maintain quality of life as the quantity of people is being allowed to increase? Is there a committee to oversee, anticipate new problems that growth presents, where high-quality city schools and the many problems, increased poverty that comes with transient population, apartment homes, overly crowded roads and parks, community resources, homeless population, crime, and foreign influence is concerned?
Well, that's a lot of questions in one, but the gist of that question sounds like quality of life. And so overpopulated communities is not a good quality of life. I get that. I understand it. I was born and raised here when Bartow was mostly just a rural community. My family ran a farm supply store. I was raised on a farm. We've had cattle and cotton and chickens, and we had it all, but it was a good life. But the quality of life in Bartow County, I hope, can remain good. And I think it is good for most people here. It's not good if you don't have a job. It's not good if you're homeless. And I understand there's a lot of people with a lot of problems. But the overall quality of life in Bartow County, I think, is good, and I hope it stays good throughout. I know we have traffic concerns. More people cause more traffic. We've got to address our traffic, and we've got areas of the county that don't have all the utilities they need. I know a lot of roads need widening in Bartow County. We've got continuous paving that we do throughout Bartow County. We've done a good job with that in the last several years, paving a lot of roads that hadn't been paved in a long time. But the quality of life overall in Bartow County, I think, is good. It's a good place to live here in Bartow County. If it wasn't, you wouldn't have so many people wanting to come here and move here and do business here. It's a great business environment here in Bartow County. If you want a job and you live in this county, you can find a job in Bartow County in just about any business you walk in. So it's still a really good place to live and do business. We've got a lot of recreation opportunities. We've got Lake Allatoona. We've got all these parks that we're building now, and we're expanding. We're looking for more areas to maybe build some recreation areas. That's what the citizens that call my office. That's one of the things they seem most concerned about. They do call my office concerned about traffic. We talk to folks about traffic. We understand that we're going to have to invest some of our tax dollars to help our traffic concerns also. So there's some challenges that come along with that list of concerns that this citizen had, but I think we're addressing them really well.
I appreciate Steve Taylor joining us this morning, and thank you for taking the questions. And would you like to add anything to this?
No, I think I'm good, David, but I thought you was going to ask me about a board of commissioners.
Oh,
and
yeah.
That's one question you forgot to completely ask. And
when are we
you might
get a
say,
board?
are you crazy for bringing this up? I'm a sole commissioner. So the Board of Commissioners, I sent a letter to our local legislators this past year asking to put a referendum on the ballot, and it will be coming up within a couple of years, to either keep a sole commissioner form of government or a Board of Commissioners. And as a Board of Commissioners goes, I asked for 5 board members. Whether we have a full-time chairman or a part-time chairman, that would be up to the legislatures, but I asked for a full-time chairman and 4 post commissioners, just like Paulding County has, just like Cherokee County has. Some counties only want 3 commissioners, a chairman and 2 post commissioners. I think Bartow's big enough to have 5, but that's not going to be up to me. It's going to be up to the citizens that get to vote on this. A lot of people think all our problems will go away if we just had a board of commissioners. I've heard that. I don't get on social media, so I don't read these posts that people put out there, but I do hear from a lot of my friends say these people are putting out there like, you just need a board of commissioners, and this just won't happen in Bartow County. So I think the question's going to be on the ballot within a couple of years, and I think the citizens will get to vote on it. There's a lot of new people that's moved to Bartow County that will probably be for our Board of Commissioners because that's the way it was where they came from. So we'll just see how that goes. Thank you.